Alrighty, everybody. Good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for joining me here on this Monday evening here at Atlanta News First. I'm Savannah Louie. We've got your top 5 stories today on July 24th here, 8 o'clock on the dot, and we're just going to get straight into it. All right, we're starting off here with a story that was very concerning for several businesses over in Brookhaven in Atlanta, Fulton County, when bullets go flying into their stores. This happened very early this morning, but what I want to show you right now is new surveillance video that we have of part of that shooting. I'm going to go ahead and play it for you right now. Here you go. Again, this is surveillance video obtained by Atlanta News First. Here you can see those bullets flying. Again, this in Brookhaven and impacting several businesses like the ones you see on your screen here. This was around 5:45 this morning, just about a block away from the Brookhaven Police Department, and we're told about 80 rounds were fired. Investigators say there was a shootout between two groups. You saw them on your screen just a few minutes ago. Now, at least 3 cars were damaged at a repair shop, along with the Waffle House and a dentist office. These businesses are now looking at several $100s each in damage. It's going to be hard to clean up there. Now, Brookhaven police also say that that surveillance video in the area is going to be absolutely crucial for helping them identify the people who are responsible for this. But again, this all happening around 5:45 this morning, and what you're looking at here is new surveillance video of that shooting obtained by Atlanta News First. Police are still looking for the suspects in that situation. All right, we're moving straight ahead here up north to Kennesaw in Cobb County, where students are alleging there was a racial slur found in their off-campus apartment building. Atlanta News First has decided to blur that slur here, but I'll go ahead and show you the extent of what this looks like. And what's really concerning right now for law enforcement officials, as well as some of these students here, is that this is not the first time that this has happened. This is the second time that Kennesaw State students found the N-word sprayed in paint on their off-campus apartment hallway. This is over at the Indy Apartments in Marietta. We blurred this image again because it is too obscene for TV, but I want to remind you guys, back in October, a similar racial slur was spray painted on the 3rd floor. Students we spoke with today says it makes them feel unwelcome. We reached out to the apartment management at the Indy, and we are told that they've reported the situation to police and are actively investigating that situation. All right, we are going to move straight ahead here to a story that is going to impact a lot of people in Fulton County in a pretty big way here. We're talking about your property taxes this evening and the possibility that those property taxes could increase. All right, so here we go. You could be paying 12% more in property taxes, according to a new proposition by county commissioners. The commissioners say the increase is in part because of the rise in value of homes across Fulton County. But before anything is set in stone, you can voice your opinion. There will be 3 public hearings at the Fulton County Government Center over on Pryor Street, downtown Atlanta. They're happening on August 2nd at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. and the 3rd on August 16th at 10 a.m. So, if you have an opinion on whether you want your property taxes to go up by 12% or not, go to those meetings. We have more information on those. You can find that at atlantanewsfirst.com. All right, zipping straight ahead here to a really interesting story. I think a lot of people are going to be excited about this. The Atlanta BeltLine, the pride and joy of Atlanta, especially for those of you who are like me who prefer to walk over drive if possible, especially with this traffic. Well, we have some good news here. Millions of dollars in federal funding for the Atlanta BeltLine. Yep, you heard that right. $25 million from Washington to help finish the Atlanta BeltLine. This, by the way, is the largest federal grant in BeltLine history. It's also going to be the first time the BeltLine will connect to a MARTA station using these funds. These funds will be used to construct a 2.2-mile network of multi-use trails in northeast Atlanta, specifically between the Lindbergh-MARTA station and the Armour Yards area, if you're familiar. The project will provide pedestrian and cyclist access between the Atlanta BeltLine and other businesses and residents in the district, that area. And new access points, by the way, that leaders Senator Ossoff and Warnock and Congresswoman Nikema Williams also helped secure this money. And they say that they hope it'll bring new jobs, new housing, and areas of activity for the area. Right now, design on this trail is underway. The next community meeting on the Northeast Trail will take place on Thursday if you're interested in attending that. If you want to have your voice heard and also maybe learn a little bit more about the BeltLine project, I would say definitely consider going to that meeting. All right, guys, final story for you tonight, and this is not necessarily Atlanta-based, but I thought it was important, and I'm sure many of you at home are going to consider this pretty important as well. Mosquito bites, no one likes these pesky creatures. Unfortunately, you might be seeing more of that. Ooh, sorry to be the bearer of bad news here, but rising temperatures could lead to a rise in the number of mosquito-borne viruses here in the U.S. Experts believe a large portion of southern U.S. will have suitable climate for malaria within 30 years. Ooh, I don't know about you, but that makes me a little nervous. But you can't say I never warned you, right? All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me and for starting your week with me here at the Atlanta News First Alert Desk. Again, I am Savannah Louie, and with that, we are going to bring in a picture of the Atlanta skyline. There we go, looking at Midtown Atlanta. All right, I got to ask my buddy Cutter Martin here, meteorologist Cutter Martin. Cutter, is this the right graphic for you that I have ready to go?
It'll work.
So no.
No,
it's the wrong graphic.
I will, don't worry about that. I got that. We got it under control. We'll give the people what they want to see in the meantime. That's a gorgeous view of Atlanta, topping at the perimeter near Sandy Springs. Those are the buildings in the foreground. Looking back to the south, that's going to be Buckhead there, and closest to the camera. And then beyond that, you have Midtown, and then furthest in the background, you can kind of see the Westin Hotel. That's downtown Atlanta. We have plenty of sunshine out there this evening. It is absolutely stunning. I know it was warm today, but considering it was with low humidity, it certainly could be worse this time of year, and I would still not qualify today as a bad day. It was pretty decent out there, especially when you consider the heat that is to come and eventually the humidity that returns to the First Alert forecast. I want to remind you as we talk weather here, if you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, you can reach out to me on Atlanta News First, the YouTube account. We're streaming live there. Of course, we're live Roku, Amazon Fire, AtlantaNewsFirst.com, Atlanta News First app, First Alert weather app, but we can chat. We can talk weather at Atlanta News First on YouTube. We are streaming live right now. Doesn't look like we have too many questions, comments coming in, but certainly do have folks watching. So again, if you have any concerns, give me a holler, and I will I'll answer your weather questions live here on this particular stream. The kind of focus of the forecast is going to be the heat that we have on the way. And I'm going to show you the 7-day here in just a moment, but do want to start with what's happening outside right now. And we're going to load up our graphics here in just a second here. We're going to load up the weather graphics, so bear with me here. In the meantime, again, we're talking heat and a little bit of humidity in the First Alert forecast, and I think that in general, the hottest weather is still days away as we get into the late work week period, maybe Friday or so. And then on into the coming weekend, it is going to be a scorcher. So if you have any plans this coming weekend, maybe at the pool, maybe headed to the beach, to the lake, if you're shooting the hooch now that the river's back open, it's going to be absolutely perfect weather for that sort of activity. For everyone else, especially those that work outside, roofers, gardeners, GDOT folks that are working on our roadways and our infrastructure, it is going to be an absolute scorcher of a stretch of weather here, and certainly do need to keep those folks in mind and make sure that they are staying cool. If you have any loved ones that do work those jobs, let them know that we're thinking about them, and do your best. Be neighborly, basically, to anyone that's outside. during this extended period of hot weather. Right, weather graphics loading up here. Let's start with that live look outside again right now. Not too bad. It's a little cooler than it was earlier. We reached a high temperature in the lower 90s today, so it was warm, but it is going to get even hotter as we close out kind of that midweek period and head into our Thursday and our Friday. But technically tomorrow will be a little bit hotter than this afternoon, with temperatures peaking in the mid-90s tomorrow. This afternoon we were more in the lower 90s, so I think even tomorrow you may notice a little bit of a jump up in that temperature, with a high in Atlanta of about 94 degrees tomorrow afternoon. That's your forecast. This afternoon, we were about 92 to 93, and first alert radar, just hot enough to get a couple showers popping up here up in Rabun County, the Clayton community, about the only spot, one of the only spots that has seen rain today. A little shower here south of Clayton, near the Lakemont community on US 23, just south of Tiger. South of Clayton. This is right along the South Carolina state line, along the Savannah River there. And that's about the only shower we're seeing. Temperature-wise outside, it is still warm in Atlanta, obviously. Here's another view of Centennial Olympic Park. Absolutely stunning out there. Hard to find a single cloud in the sky. And temperatures now beginning to cool. We were at about 92, 93, maybe 4 or 5 p.m. Back down to 87 in Atlanta at 7 p.m., so about an hour ago, we were still at 90. So a nice drop in our temperature the past hour or so. 88 in Marietta, 85 Lawrenceville, Athens the coolest at 84. An hour-by-hour forecast as we go deeper into the evening. Temperatures will continue to cool. You know, it's not going to feel like fall or anything like that, but certainly cooler than it felt earlier today. And I think by 10 p.m. back in the lower 80s, probably in the 70s before midnight, with temperatures cooling back into the lower 70s out the door tomorrow morning for the city of Atlanta. Keep in mind, if you live outlying, if you live outside of I-285, it'll feel even cooler. It will be even cooler with temperatures, low temperatures tomorrow morning, bottoming out in the mid to upper 60s. In fact, we're going to bring out another map here for you. This will give you a bigger picture as to what low temperatures will be tomorrow morning, take you beyond the city of Atlanta. Mild in general, but still pleasant given the time of year and considering how warm the afternoons will be. Not bad out the door. 68 Kennesaw, it's about 7 o'clock in the morning. 72 inside the perimeter, that's your average low temperature. 66 South Fulton, though, city of South Fulton, Palmetto, Douglasville, Westside 66, Lawrenceville 67, Sugar Hill and Beaufort up into North Gwinnett in the mid-60s. But look at the mountain communities up in Blairsville, upper 50s. So Blue Ridge, Helen, Ellijay, Ivy Log community, the Clayton community, Clay County, North Carolina, Rabun County back in Georgia. It'll be a little bit cooler. Upper 50s, lower 60s. A nice start to our Tuesday, considering how warm it is going to be tomorrow afternoon. Out the door, drive-wise, sunshine, lower 70s, light breeze, low humidity. Please do enjoy your morning. Maybe get up a little early, get the walk in early in the day, get some coffee on the back patio. It'll be that kind of a morning, considering how muggy, mild, and somewhat uncomfortable our mornings are going to become by the time we get into Thursday and Friday. Hour by hour, notice all the reds and pinks and purples here. We're going to be heating up pretty quick tomorrow. Upper 80s to near 90 already by noon. The lower number there, that's the actual temperature. The upper number is what it feels like, and it will feel like it is in the upper 90s tomorrow afternoon. A few degrees hotter than what the thermometer reads, with just a skosh of humidity. Not a humid day, not a muggy day, but a little more humidity potentially compared to what we had today. So there may be just a little bit of a heat index. You may feel just a little bit hotter as we get into the afternoon hours tomorrow afternoon. High temperatures tomorrow, again, 94 in Atlanta. Lots of low and mid-90s, a degree or two warmer than today. Gainesville, 92. Athens, 94. Rome, your hot spot. Floyd County, the hot spot tomorrow. 95 in Rome, feeling like it's in the upper 90s. Once again, one of the hotter locations. Newnan, 93. Still a good day to get outside. Maybe go to the pool. Students, last couple weeks of summer, some only have one more week of summer vacation left, and a good time to get outside. Just make sure you're finding shade, drinking plenty of water, getting those electrolytes, Gatorade, things like that. Also make sure you are applying and then reapplying the sunscreen. With less in the way of clouds tomorrow and that high sun angle, summer sun can do a number on you pretty quick. Make sure you are applying and reapplying that sunscreen, trying to avoid the sunburn out there tomorrow, and that'll be a factor through the week with so much sunshine. Sunburn going to be easy to get if you're outside for an extended period of time this week. And speaking of summer temperatures, time to look at the tropics. Not too much going on out there. 2 areas of disturbed weather, one off the southwestern Atlantic coast, an area of storminess there has a low risk of development as we get into the late weekend period. And in fact, that lower yellow polygon, that 20% chance of development has just been lowered to a 10% chance. Unlikely within the next 5 to 7 days that it will develop tropically as it moves through the Caribbean. Looking largely pretty quiet out there. 7-day forecast, certainly no tropical impacts here locally, just toasty. 94 tomorrow, 96 Wednesday, 96 Thursday, 96 Friday and Saturday, 97 Sunday, 97 Monday. And some of this data is hotter than what we're forecasting, number one, so we could adjust this even a little warmer. And number two, these are not feels like temperatures. These are the actual thermometer temperatures, and with just a little bit more humidity, it'll feel hotter than 100, most likely getting into the weekend. And notice how mornings are in the mid and upper 70s by the time we get into the weekend. So muggy starts, warm mornings, hot afternoons, dog days of summer, the hottest stretch of summer weather we've had so far this summer season. It is on the way. Really, it's already begun, but it's going to be very noticeable by the time we get into our Wednesday and our Thursday, with humidity creeping back up and high temperatures peaking back in the mid to upper 90s. All right, I want to thank you for watching. I want to remind you, you can always get a check of the forecast at AtlantaNewsFirst.com and in the First Alert Weather app. First Alert meteorologist Fred Campagna back on the screen at 9 p.m. Atlanta News First on Peachtree TV. I'll have the 10 o'clock hour with some of that new evening data rolling in, and then he'll be back on WANF, Fred Campagna, at 11 p.m. Join us for the full forecast. In the meantime, stay cool. Hopefully you have a wonderful evening. We'll leave you with a live look at the beautiful city of Atlanta. Just tinge of haze out there. Reminder tomorrow as well, with high pressure building in, with hot, kind of stagnant weather in the forecast. There is a code orange air quality alert tomorrow. Sensitive groups, not smoke related, just ozone and other pollutants trapped at the surface. So COPD, asthma sufferers, best to get the walks, the exercise in very early in the day, or just waiting until about sunset and onward for any outdoor activities, strenuous outdoor activities tomorrow. Again, full forecast coming up here again in about 45 minutes.